Hey, Cedar City Church. Hey, just another Monday time in the Word. Just been kind of slowly reading through the book of First Corinthians and just worshiping through this text and just enjoying it. And so today I just want to read a couple quick verses, give you a couple quick thoughts, and then encourage you to live this out today. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, Paul is writing, and he says these words in verse 19. For though I am free from all, I have made myself a servant to all, that I might win more of them. And so what this text is saying before these words is that Paul gave up his right to receive financial help from the church. He wanted to make sure that people knew that the gospel was free. And so he didn't take an income for his ministry, although he could have. He gave up eating certain foods because he didn't want to become a stumbling block to some people that he was trying to reach and minister with the gospel. And so what this text shows us is that Paul was willing to give up his rights for the good of others. I want you to hear that. He was willing to give up his rights. We should be willing to give up some of our rights for the good of others, that we might win people to Jesus. And so he has this very clear gospel aim. He wants to do whatever he can, give up whatever he can, become whatever he can, that others may know Jesus. The scriptures say in the verses following that he lived as though he was under the law to some people, and then again lived like he was outside the law when he was trying to reach those people. The Bible says, to the weak he became weak. And so Paul is really all about giving things up in order that people might see and ask, and he might be able to have conversations ultimately about Jesus. It was derived from a motive that said, I want to love Jesus and love my neighbor so that they might love Jesus as well. And so where did he get this from? Well, he got it from his relationship with Jesus. Jesus gave up so much for Paul, and Jesus has given up so much for us. He sacrificed so much for us that he might draw us to himself. And so today I want to encourage you, and I want to be encouraged to think about the people that God has put into my life, and to begin thinking about what might it take for me to give up some things that I might reach them. How might I become weak, or how might I become lowly, or how might I learn something new about the culture or about people that might allow me to engage with them, that I might win them for Christ. And so just a couple of thoughts on a couple of things we might want to consider giving up. One would be our right to be right. Sometimes I think that we know truth and we just want to be right about everything. And so sometimes we just need to learn how to maybe be quiet and just simply listen. And so maybe that might be an encouragement to you today. Maybe when people offend you or do something against you, you want to make them pay. And so maybe you just want to give up your right today to be right and to make people pay for what they've done to you. And so maybe that's a way today that you can give up something, your right to make people pay, and you can just love them and forgive them and give them grace. Or maybe another one I was thinking of is the right to withhold love from a person who's offended you or a person who doesn't think like you. Or maybe the right to cancel somebody. I know we're living in a cancel culture. If people don't think like you or say the right thing in the way you want them to say it, you might just cancel them. The good news of the gospel is that Jesus he didn't cancel us, right? He loves us and engages with us even when we're against him. And so I would encourage you to maybe give up your right to cancel somebody, or just remove them from your friends list or what have you. A couple other things that you might want to consider giving up, rights to give up today, might be your right to, in our culture today, wear a mask or not wear a mask, right? Like, don't make that the thing. Think about the people you're engaging with and consider them, and maybe by wearing a mask or not wearing a mask, you might actually have some inroads to gospel conversations. I actually went down to an event in our neighborhood the other day, and everybody had a mask on, and I was like, oh, I wish I would have brought my mask. It would have spoken something to them about my care and concern. But maybe that's a right that we could give up today, wearing one or not wearing one. Or maybe, again, just the right to speak. Maybe we just need to be a little bit more quieter. Maybe we need to read some more content just to understand anything that's going on in our world today. And so just giving up those rights with the expressed interest in winning people to Jesus. And so at the end of this, real quickly, Paul says, I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, that I might share with them in its blessing. So the encouragement today is that we might become all things to all people. Whoever God's put into your life, really try to figure out how to love them and learn and be with them and engage with them, that you might win some to Christ. And so that's your encouragement for today. I pray that we would be about making disciples and telling people about Jesus every day. Certainly not a shortage of opportunities in our day and age today. It's easy to engage with people on social topics, and then we can engage then deeper in gospel topics. But I want to encourage you and me to love people well this week and be about that gospel. All right, guys, love you. I'll see you soon.